creation of jobs and skilling our young people in particular. And all of this feeds into what the President has been talking about and trying to excite the country into his stimulus plan, which was announced earlier this morning. Well, I'm now joined in studio by Busisiwe Mavuso, who's the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting us, Peter.
All right, so were you excited by what the President had to say this morning?
We are absolutely excited. I think the most excitement emanates from the fact that it was a very consultative process. Business and labor, all the critical stakeholders in the economy have been consulted. So what you see today is really a culmination of all views, and we are therefore have no doubt whatsoever that it's definitely going to hit the right spots, as it were.
All right, so did you recognize some of the things that you put forward?
We absolutely do. So the Project Management Office, for instance, located within the presidency, to see some of these large infrastructure projects, and we have said as business that we're actually willing to ensure that there is a skills transfer, there is actually adequate skills that actually reside in that office, as it were, so that we can ensure that this doesn't become another failed project. The identification of shovel-ready projects, in the public sector, because we need to be looking at projects that are labor-intensive, because remember, the focus here is on the job summit. So to the extent that we can be able to achieve that, then we're on the right track, definitely.
So infrastructure build. The last time I heard this, it was 2010. And we're going into the World Cup, and we thought that that was going to be the panacea. And what it does help for a bit, but it, in the end, wasn't sustainable. And I wonder what's going to be different now.
So what's going to have to happen after this? Remember, this is just an intervention to ensure that we move ourselves out of this dark hole that we're in as a country. So after this, we're going to have a more systemic project and interventions that are going to ensure that structural changes, to the South African economy, as it were, are therefore devised. And you would know that as business, for instance, we have the YES initiative, which is looking at 1 million jobs. There is the job summit that is coming up on the 4th and 5th of October, which is going to be announcing 100,000 jobs. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Yes, it might not be sustainable in the long term, but there are other long-term projects that are actually going to ensure that this momentum carries on.
All right, so the President has said, listen, we can't do this alone. Everybody has to join hands. What is the private sector, what is business going to contribute?
So we have said, for instance, that there is going to be funding that is going to come in, from the private sector. So this 400 billion fund, private sector is going to come in as far as that is concerned. We have said that we are ready to ensure that we deploy the necessary skills in ensuring that this works. We have said that in as far as the municipalities are concerned, the delivery thereof, because when you look at municipalities, you will know that it is at the service delivery level that where all hell breaks loose, as it were. And when you look at it, I think really it's a lack of skills. So business is sitting with those skills. Then we have said we stand ready to assist in as far as those things are concerned. So
we know that SMMEs are the greatest creators of employment.
Absolutely.
He talked about the township economy.
Absolutely.
Is there something new and different that's going to be done in the township economy that we haven't seen before?
I don't know if we have ever had so much laser focus, Peter, as it were. So we're identifying townships, we're identifying rural areas, we're identifying women, we're identifying youth. And yes, these are all sectors and PDIs that have been identified before. But I think the consultative nature of this process, I think, is what gives us hope as business, that everything is actually going to achieve what it aims to achieve. So, and I think in as far as the decentralization, of the economic stimulus is concerned, then it assists with the over-concentration, of the metropolitan areas. You need to start focusing on townships, you need to start focusing on rural areas. We can't have everyone flocking into Western Cape, into Gauteng, into KZN. And this starts looking at that. So there is also that realization that the growth of this economy is going to come precisely from the focusing and the emancipation of these sectors and these people, as it were, women and youth. So, everything is pointing in the right direction. So the implementation, and we have said as business, we stand ready to assist with the implementation, is actually going to be where, the great test is going to come from.
Revised mining charter, because that's another area, hasn't it, really, that's been problematic for too long. Do you think we're going to get this resolved, finished, and we can move on properly?
But I'm hoping so. So this is another one where it has been an extensive consultation process, you know, so civil society has been brought in, we have been brought in as business, Labour has been brought in. We have said as business that the trickle dividend and the 10% free carry is what is causing the greatest pain. So at the moment, they are remaining mum. They are saying that we have just revised the mining charter. We don't know what that means, but we're hoping that it starts to speak to what it is that we'd like to see as business, because I think the greatest frustration here is policy uncertainty. So we're also glad that the scrapping of the MPRDA is actually now proceeding. We are hoping that it is scrapping. They are saying that they are not proceeding. We don't know what that means, you know, but I think to the extent that there's going to be this realization, Peter, that we need to start sending the right signals to ensure that we attract foreign direct investment. We are not, and this government seemingly gets it. So that is where the hope lies. They get it. So we're hoping that definitely we're going to get what we'd like to get.
So you know what the skeptics are going to say is that, listen, when we were busy watching this stimulus package being announced, all the key figures that were sitting there were there for the last 9 years. So they were the custodians of this double dip in our economy.
Absolutely.
Why should we believe them now?
Yeah. You know, Peter, leadership and governance seem like over-exaggerated concepts when they are there. But as soon as they are not there, then you see things falling apart. So I think the problem in this country has been leadership and it has been governance. So I think with the right leadership on top, giving the right tone, giving the right signals, taking the right posture in ensuring that we focus on the right things, I think that is where I think the mood has changed, because the person that is at the helm directing things, you know, is looking at it from a different perspective, as it were. So I think that the leadership really might be seemingly over-exaggerated. I certainly don't think so. It's making all the difference. Okay, absolutely.
Well, it's great to see business leadership SA enthusiastic about the future. It gives us all confidence as well. Stuart, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much, Peter.